Well, thank you all for joining today. Good morning. I'm California Attorney General Rob Bonta, and I am joined by my colleagues, which I'm very proud to be able to do. Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser, Massachusetts Attorney General Andrea Campbell, and Rhode Island Attorney General Peter Nerona. And we're here today to announce the latest lawsuit we filed against the Trump administration for unlawfully and arbitrarily freezing $6.8 billion in education grants owed to states across the nation. Here in California, nearly 940 million, almost $1 billion is on the line. Funds, mind you, that Congress lawfully approved and appropriated, as is their job, as is their role in our constitutional democracy, a responsibility given to them by the U.S. Constitution. Congress holds the power of the purse, not the president. President Trump and Department of Education Secretary Linda McMahon have dealt a debilitating blow to our schools, throwing them into chaos just weeks ahead of the first day of school for many districts. Already ongoing summer learning programs have been forced to shut down. Thoughtful strategic budgets, staffing plans, and contracts for the upcoming school year hang in the balance. Sadly, this is just the latest in a long string of unlawful attacks on K-12 education in our country since Trump took office. And make no mistake, our kids are the ones who will suffer the consequences and are suffering the consequences. In California, more than 5,800,000 children, almost 6 million, stand in the crosshairs of Trump's campaign to demolish education in America. My colleagues and I refuse to stand idly by and allow the president to torch our children's education, care, opportunities, and futures, all the while breaking the law, violating the Constitution, and trampling over the separation of powers. Before I dive into the details, I want to acknowledge that our lawsuit is the result of the incredible partnership and collaboration of a coalition of 23 attorneys general and 2 states, and each of their teams, including the folks on my team in California, DOJ's Civil Rights Enforcement and Health, Education, and Welfare sections. So a thanks to all the team members that got us to this day. We have the honor and privilege as the attorneys general to talk about the cases and lead our teams, but this is very much a team effort, and I'm grateful for everyone's work to get us to this point. Trump and McMahon's actions are hurting children, hurting teachers and schools across the nation, which is why we're standing arm in arm from coast to coast, united in our determination to hold this administration accountable to the fundamentally American principle that every student has the right to equitable access to education. Trump and McMahon are waging a campaign to sever that access. They've made it clear that they've little regard for the law and no qualms risking our children's academic success and futures. In fact, out of the 31 lawsuits I and many of my colleagues have now filed against the Trump administration in the last 25 weeks, 8 of them challenge unlawful attacks on education. This time, the administration froze $6.8 billion in federal funding owed to states, a quarter of which should have been available July 1st. Instead, on June 30th, the U.S. Department of Education sent a 3-sentence long boilerplate email from a nondescript address alerting states that we wouldn't receive the funds we were waiting for. We were relying on, planning to use and distribute and disperse. The dismissive note came with little explanation or reasoning, let alone any legal basis. Let's be clear, Trump and McMahon have no right to hold these funds back. And in doing so, they're jeopardizing critical programs our students, families, and schools rely on, including after-school and summer learning programs, tutoring to help students in English and math, programs that train and prepare teachers so they're better equipped to teach our kids, support for children learning English, projects to improve our schools, and funding that helps ensure children who move around because their parents are migrant workers don't fall through the cracks or fall behind. Without the $6.8 billion in nationwide federal funding that's now frozen, districts and schools have been thrown into chaos, left with no choice but to consider pausing or shutting down programs and laying off teachers and staff. Some programs have already been shuttered, including summer programs that were already underway. The 21st Century Community Learning Centers at nearly 700 sites across California are on the line. These centers provide academic enrichment programs to disadvantaged children outside of regular school hours. They help students meet standards in reading and math, and during the summer, they provide meals to students, a lifeline to families in need. The Migrant Education Program, which serves 78,000 students at 20 regional programs across the state, has been hit hard by this funding freeze, and you can be sure the migrant youth and families who rely on it will feel the impact, unfortunately, feel the pain. The California Adult Literacy Professional Development Project, which trains educators who teach adult education, has been instructed to do the bare minimum to stay afloat. They've already had to end or pause contracts with educators and small businesses. Trump and McMahon are wreaking havoc on our states and schools, rocking families who count on the support and stability of these programs and holding our children back from their full potential. It's unconscionable, unlawful, and can't go unchecked. And it won't. With this lawsuit, my colleagues and I are asking the court to immediately block any attempt to withhold or delay this funding. Last week, I had the opportunity to spend the afternoon at a summer program at Bel Air Park Elementary School in Napa, California. I saw firsthand the care, compassion, education, and programming made possible by the County Office of Education, the school district, and the expanded learning team, as well as AmeriCorps tutors and mentors. I watched them make minestrone soup in their cooking class and even chopped some onions with them. I saw the art projects they were working on. I saw the exercise that they were getting, including giving me a run for my own money in zombie tag. They called it Z tag. I saw how much the program meant to those kids, how irreplaceable it is for them and their families. I talked to volunteers and educators who devoted their careers to teaching and supporting our young kids. Fortunately, so far, the county has been able to backfill the federal funding the program didn't get on July 1st. But let's be clear, that is a Band-Aid solution. Their before, after, and summer school programs are all at risk. Programs that serve the community's highest need schools. As their associate superintendent said, this freeze is, quote, yet another federal action that introduces pain and uncertainty into the educational system of our community. Trump may wrongly claim he's going after waste, fraud, and abuse, but the unfortunate irony is the long-term cost of Trump's unlawful attack on our students, families, schools, and communities is tremendous. Working parents will be left without reliable, affordable childcare. Teachers and staff will join the growing throng of unemployed Americans thanks to Trump's anti-worker policies, and students will fall behind. In 2022, out of 37 developed nations, American students ranked 28th in math and 12th in science. Those numbers don't stand a chance of improving if you slash before, after, and summer school programming, fire tutors, cut programs that teach English and support disadvantaged students, end programs that ensure our teachers are the best they can be, and prevent schools from bringing in the technology and resources they need to educate our children. President Trump can shout America first all he wants, but his anti-education agenda will only ensure we come in dead last. It shouldn't be too much to ask that the President of the United States follow the law, and yet we've had to sue him 31 times in 25 weeks for breaking the law, undermining Congress's authority, and failing to make good on federal financial obligations. As a former businessman, you'd think he'd have learned that you can't rack up a list of unpaid debts and get away with it. Our states are owed the billions in federal funding that Trump and McMahon have frozen, and we're going to court to see that it's reinstated. Before I turn it over to my colleagues to say a few words, I want to shout out the incredible public servants at California DOJ who've worked hard to make today's lawsuit possible. Jewel Boyd, Lee Sherman, Jesse Bassbaum, Elia Herrera, Emilia Morris, Christopher Tenorio, Joshua Sodheimer, Virginia Corrigan, Irina Trasobin. Thank you. It's an honor to serve alongside each and every one of you. And with that, please allow me to now turn it over to my colleague, Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser.